Have you ever been in that in-between stage where everything feels like love, looks like love, and acts like love? But those three specific words are still missing? You're spending all your time together. He's the first person you text in the morning, and the chemistry is undeniable. Yet, there's this invisible wall. Every time the conversation gets deep or a romantic song comes on, he suddenly gets quiet, shifts his gaze, or cracks a joke to break the tension. It's frustrating, and it leaves you wondering, is he just not there yet, or is he actually falling for me and just paralyzed by the thought of saying it out loud? The truth that most women miss is that for a man, saying, "I love you" isn't just a romantic gesture. It's a total surrender of power. In the male psyche, confessing love is like handing someone the keys to his internal fortress. If he says it first, he's exposed. He's vulnerable. And for many men, the fear of that vulnerability, the what if she doesn't say it back, or what if this changes everything, is absolutely terrifying. But here's the secret. While his lips might be sealed, his subconscious mind is screaming the truth through his actions every single day. He is leaking his love through tiny habits, protective instincts, and shifts in his body language that he doesn't even realize he's doing. In today's video, we are going to pull back the curtain on the male ego and explore the 15 undeniable signs a man is terrified to say "I love you" first. We're going to look at the hidden vocabulary he uses to replace those three words, phrases like "text me when you're home" or "drive safe," and why these are actually his way of protecting the woman he treasures. We'll discuss why he suddenly starts including you in his 5U plan, why he introduces you to the people who matter most in his life, and why he seems to linger just a few seconds longer during every goodbye, as if he's trying to hold on to the moment before the silence returns. If you've been feeling like you're playing a guessing game with his heart, this video is your cheat code. By the end of this countdown, you'll be able to see right through his tough guy exterior and recognize the deep, silent devotion he's been trying to hide. You'll learn how to spot the difference between a man who is unsure and a man who is terrified because he's already all in. So, if you're ready to stop overthinking every text and start understanding the silent language of a man's heart, pay close attention. These are the 15 signs he's already in love with you. He's just waiting for the courage to admit it. 1. He uses "we" instead of "I" when talking about the future. When a man is terrified to say those three big words, his subconscious mind usually betrays him through his choice of pronouns. The shift from "I" to "we" is a monumental psychological transition. It indicates that in his mental map of the world, he no longer views himself as a solo entity. When he talks about a concert happening 3 months from now, a trip he wants to take next summer, or even a movie coming out next week, and he instinctively says, "we should go," he is admitting that he cannot imagine a future where you aren't by his side. This inclusive language is his way of testing the waters of commitment without the vulnerability of a formal declaration. He is looking to see if you mirror that language back to him. If he were to say, "I love you," he would be handing you the power to reject his deepest feelings. By using "we," he is creating a shared reality that feels safer. It's a way of soft-launching a life together. You'll notice that he doesn't just do this for big events. He does it for the mundane things too, like saying, "we need to try that new pizza place," or "we're going to love that new show." This persistent use of "we" shows that he has already integrated you into his identity. He is terrified that saying the actual words might break the beautiful, natural flow you already have, so he relies on these verbal cues to show you that, in his heart, the two of you are already a team. It's a subtle claim on your time and your future, wrapped in the safety of casual conversation. 2. He looks at you with intense adoration when he thinks you aren't watching. There's a specific kind of look a man gives a woman when he is falling in love but is too scared to admit it. It's often referred to as the adoration gaze. This isn't a lustful look or a casual glance. It's a moment of pure, unfiltered connection where his guard is completely down. Because he is terrified of the vulnerability that comes with a verbal confession, he saves his most honest expressions for the moments when he thinks you won't catch him. You might catch a glimpse of it in the reflection of a window, or perhaps you turn your head quickly and see him looking at you with a soft, lingering smile that quickly vanishes the moment your eyes meet. In psychology, this is known as visual nesting. He is essentially soaking up your presence and memorizing your features because you have become his safe place. When he thinks you aren't looking, he doesn't have to perform or hide his feelings. His eyes carry the weight of everything he is too afraid to say. If you do catch him, he might look away quickly, turn red, or start talking about something completely unrelated. This look is a window into his soul. It shows a level of depth and sincerity that words often fail to capture anyway. He is terrified that if he looks at you like that while you're making eye contact, his secret will be out, and the power dynamic will shift. He is holding on to that gaze as his private treasure, a silent "I love you" that he isn't quite ready to release into the air. 3. He replaces the 3 words with "drive safe" or "text me when you're home." For a man who is terrified of the weight of "I love you," those 3 words often undergo a linguistic transformation. Instead of the traditional romantic declaration, his love manifests as a deep, persistent concern for your safety and well-being. When he tells you to drive safe, wear a coat because it's cold, or text me when you get inside, he isn't just being polite. He is expressing a protective instinct that is rooted in deep emotional attachment. In his mind, these phrases are safe. They allow him to care for you deeply without the risk of being overly sentimental or facing potential rejection. This behavior stems from the provider-protector archetype. To him, loving someone means being responsible for their safety. If something were to happen to you, it would be devastating to him. And these small commands are his way of exerting control over a world that could hurt the person he treasures most. He might even get a little frustrated or anxious if you forget to text him after a long drive. This isn't because he's controlling. It's because his unspoken love is tied to your security. Every time he says, "Let me know you got back safe," he is actually saying, "You are the most precious thing in my life, and the thought of anything happening to you is unbearable." It is a practical, masculine form of devotion that serves as a bridge until he builds up the courage to say the words he's really feeling. 4. He becomes visibly nervous or quiet during highly romantic moments. You might notice that when the mood gets heavy, perhaps you're watching a romantic movie or you're having a deep, late-night conversation, he suddenly pulls back or becomes unusually quiet. This emotional withdrawal is often mistaken for lack of interest, but in a man who is terrified to say, "I love you," it's actually a sign of emotional overload. In those high-tension moments, the words are sitting right on the tip of his tongue. He can feel the pressure of the confession building up in his chest, and his sudden silence is a desperate attempt to keep those words from leaking out before he feels completely safe. He might fidget with his phone, start cracking jokes to break the tension, or suddenly find a reason to leave the room. This is a classic fight-or-flight response triggered by emotional intimacy. He loves the closeness, but he is terrified of the point of no return that comes with saying, "I love you." He knows that once those words are out, the relationship changes forever. There's more to lose, and more expectations are set. His nervousness is a physical manifestation of the battle between his heart and his head. If he was just playing or didn't care, he would be relaxed and charming. The fact that he's struggling to maintain his composure in romantic settings is a massive indicator that his feelings have grown much larger than his ability to express them comfortably. 5. He introduces you to the most important people in his inner circle. When a man is terrified to say, "I love you," he will often let his social life speak for him. Bringing you into his inner circle, his best friends, his siblings, or even his parents, is a huge psychological step. He isn't just hanging out with you. He is integrating you. By introducing you to the people whose opinions he values most, he is subconsciously seeking their approval of a bond he's already formed in his head. He wants to see how you fit into his world. He is terrified of the words, but he is not terrified of the reality of having you by his side in every part of his life. Watch how he acts during these introductions. He will likely be more attentive to you than anyone else in the room. He'll make sure you're included in conversations and might even brag about your accomplishments to his friends. This is his way of showing his inner circle, and you, that you are a high-value person in his life. He is claiming you socially before he is ready to claim you verbally. If he didn't see a long-term future with you, he would keep his private life and his social life completely separate to avoid the messiness of a breakup later on. The fact that he is weaving you into the fabric of his closest relationships is a silent confession that is already in love. He's just waiting for the moment where the fear of not saying it becomes greater than the fear of saying it. 6. He checks in consistently to ensure you're happy and comfortable. When a man is terrified of saying, "I love you," his emotional energy transforms into a state of hypervigilance. He becomes obsessed with your emotional state because, in his mind, your happiness is the only thing keeping the connection alive. Since he hasn't secured the relationship with a formal declaration of love, he feels he must earn your presence every single day. This results in a pattern of consistent check-ins that go beyond casual conversation. He isn't just asking, "How are you?" He is looking for micro-expressions of discomfort, sadness, or dissatisfaction. If you're at a party, he's the one asking if you're tired or if you want to leave. If you're at dinner, he's making sure you actually like the food. This behavior is a psychological safety check. He is terrified that if you are unhappy for even a moment, you might realize you don't need him. By being the person who is most concerned with your comfort, he is attempting to build an emotional monopoly. He wants to be the source of your peace. You'll notice that he listens to your complaints about other people with an intensity that seems almost personal. He wants to be the fixer. Every time he asks, "Is everything okay?" or "Do you need anything?" he's actually saying, "I am deeply invested in your well-being, and I am scared of the day you might not need me anymore." He uses your comfort as a metric for his own success in the relationship. It is a selfless, yet anxiety-driven form of devotion that acts as a placeholder for the words he is too scared to speak. 7. He goes out of his way to fix things for you before you even ask. In the male psyche, provision and problem-solving are the primary languages of love. When a man is terrified to be vulnerable with his words, he will be hyper-vulnerable with his actions. He will start looking for leaks in your life, metaphorical or literal, and try to plug them before you even realize they are a problem. This might mean getting your car's oil changed, fixing a loose cabinet door, or even organizing a digital file for you that you mentioned was messy. He isn't doing this to be a handyman. He is doing this to prove his utility. He is terrified that if he doesn't provide tangible value, his emotional value won't be enough to keep you. This preemptive fixing is a powerful sign of deep attachment. It shows that he is constantly thinking about your life and how to make it easier. He wants to be the person who removes obstacles from your path. When he does these things, watch his reaction when you thank him. He might downplay it or act like it was no big deal, but internally, he is soaking up the validation. To him, every problem he fixes is a deposit into the relationship bank. He is building a foundation of reliability that he hopes will speak for him. He believes that if he becomes the person you can't live without, the "I love you" won't be as scary to say later because you'll already know it's true. He is literally building a house for his feelings, one act of service at a time. 8. He shares deeply personal stories he's never told anyone else. Vulnerability is the greatest hurdle for a man in love. If he is terrified of the words, "I love you," he will often use emotional disclosure as a substitute. When he starts telling you about his childhood fears, his past failures, or his secret ambitions, he is handing you the keys to his internal world. In the male world, information is power, and by giving you information that could potentially be used to hurt him, he is showing you a level of trust that is synonymous with love. He is testing the waters of intimacy. He wants to see if you will handle his raw self with care before he risks the ultimate vulnerability of a romantic confession. This is often a subconscious strategy. He feels the need to be known by you. He wants you to understand the why behind who he is. If he shares a story about a time he felt weak or embarrassed, and you respond with empathy and lack of judgment, his fear of saying "I love you" diminishes just a little bit. He is looking for an emotional safe zone. You might notice that after one of these deep sharing sessions, he gets a little emotionally hungover and might pull back for a day. This is because he realizes how much is revealed. He is terrified of the power you now hold over him, but he can't help himself. The love he feels is forcing him to be seen by you, even if he can't quite bring himself to name the feeling yet. 9. He mimics your body language and subconsciously stays close to you. The mirroring effect is a well-documented psychological phenomenon where we subconsciously imitate the gestures, posture, and speech patterns of someone we are deeply attracted to. When a man is terrified to say, "I love you," his body will often do the talking for him. If you cross your legs, he crosses his. If you lean in, he leans in. This is his brain's way of saying, "I am in sync with you." It's an evolutionary drive to create rapport and safety. Beyond mirroring, you'll notice that he consistently positions himself within your personal intimate zone, about 18 inches from your body, even in public settings where it might not be necessary. This physical proximity is a silent claim. He is staying close because his subconscious is terrified of the distance. He wants to be in your orbit. You'll notice that in a crowded room, he always knows exactly where you are. Even if he's talking to someone else, his body is likely angled toward you. He might reach out to touch your arm, move a stray hair from your face, or let his hand linger on the small of your back. These micro-touches are his way of expressing affection without the risk of a verbal rejection. He is trying to create a physical bond that mirrors the emotional one he's too scared to admit to. His body is literally leaning into the love, even as his mind is trying to pull back the reins. 10. He remembers the smallest details of your conversations from weeks ago. A man's brain is often criticized for being selective with information, but when he is in love and terrified of losing the connection, his memory becomes superhuman. He will bring up a random comment you made 3 weeks ago about a specific type of flower you like, or a story about your third-grade teacher. This high-detail retention is a sign that he is fully present whenever you speak. He isn't just hearing you, he is studying you. He treats every word you say as a vital piece of the puzzle. He is terrified that if he forgets something important to you, it will show a lack of care, and that could be the reason you drift away. By bringing up these small details, he is also showing you that you are priority. It's a way of saying, "You matter enough to me that I dedicate mental space to the things you care about." It's a very safe way for him to show his devotion. He can say, "Oh, I remembered you liked this," without it feeling as heavy as a declaration of love. However, the psychological weight behind it is the same. He is curating a mental library of you. This allows him to anticipate your needs and surprises you with your favorite things, further cementing his role as your perfect match. His memory is his most loyal soldier in the battle to keep you close while his heart stays guarded behind the wall of silence. 11. He shows protective instincts without being overbearing. When a man is terrified to say, "I love you," his primal instincts often take over where his words fail. This protective shield behavior is deeply rooted in evolutionary psychology. In his mind, if he loves you, your safety becomes his primary mission. However, because he hasn't officially declared his feelings, he walks a fine line. He wants to protect you, but is scared of appearing too much or controlling. You'll notice this in small, subtle shifts in his physical presence. When you are walking down a busy street, he'll instinctively move to the side closest to the traffic. If you're in a crowded bar, he'll position himself in a way that creates a physical buffer between you and the rest of the room. This is a silent claim on your well-being. He isn't doing it for show. He's doing it because the thought of anything, even a minor inconvenience, happening to you causes him genuine internal distress. This protectiveness also extends to your reputation and your emotions. If someone speaks ill of you, he's the first to defend you, often with more intensity than you would yourself. He is building a safe zone around you. By being your protector, he is proving his value as a partner in the most ancient way possible. He believes that if he can make you feel safer with him than you do anywhere else, you will naturally want to keep him around. His silence on the word love is replaced by a physical commitment to your security, acting as a constant, non-verbal reassurance that he is your rock. 12. He stays on the phone or lingers during goodbyes just to hear your voice. The separation anxiety of a man in love is most visible during the transition from together to apart. When a man is terrified to say, "I love you," every goodbye feels like a high-stakes moment where the connection might reset or fade. This leads to the linger effect. On a phone call, you'll notice that even after the conversation has reached its natural conclusion, he doesn't hang up. He'll find filler topics or ask one more thing just to keep the sound of your voice in his ear for another minute. He is soaking up the intimacy because he doesn't know when he'll feel this safe again. This behavior is a psychological anchor. He is trying to stretch the present moment into the future. By lingering, he is fighting the silence that comes after a goodbye, a silence where his fears of losing you usually grow the loudest. When you're together in person, this looks like the long walk to the car or the extra 5 minutes in the hallway. He is looking for a sign from you that you don't want the moment to end either. Every extra second he gains is a victory for his heart. He is terrified that once the contact is broken, you might move on to other thoughts where he isn't the priority. His reluctance to leave is a raw, visible manifestation of an attachment that has outgrown his current vocabulary. He is literally holding onto the connection with both hands, even while his lips remain sealed. 13. He asks for your opinion on major life decisions and career moves. In the male psyche, a man's mission or career is often his highest priority. When he begins to consult you on these topics, he is doing something much deeper than just seeking advice. He is value mapping. He is checking to see if his future path aligns with yours. If he is terrified to say, "I love you," he will use these professional or life planning conversations as a proxy for commitment. By asking, "Do you think I should take this promotion in another city?" or "What do you think of this investment?" he is essentially asking, "Do you see yourself in this future with me?" He is giving you veto power over his life. This level of consultation is a sign of extreme trust and integration. He is terrified that if he makes a move you don't approve of, he might lose the chance to be with you. Your opinion becomes the North Star for his decision-making process. He wants to ensure that the life he is building is one that you would want to be a part of. It's a very safe way for him to gauge your long-term interest without having to be emotionally naked by confessing his love. If you give him your honest input and show interest in his success, he feels a massive surge of relief. To him, your involvement in his grand plan is a silent agreement that you are building something together. He is weaving your DNA into the blueprint of his life, making you a permanent fixture before he's even had the courage to give you the title of girlfriend. 14. He gets slightly anxious or restless when the topic of love comes up. The most ironic sign of a man who is terrified to say "I love you" is his physical reaction to the word itself. When you're watching a movie with a deep love confession, or a friend mentions a couple that just got engaged, watch his body language. He might suddenly look at his phone, start fidgeting with his keys, or try to change the subject with a joke. This is a defense mechanism triggered by the proximity of his own secret. The topic of love makes his internal alarm go off because it highlights the very thing he is working so hard to hide. He feels exposed, as if the conversation is a spotlight shining directly on his own heart. This avoidance behavior isn't because he doesn't believe in love, it's because he's overwhelmed by it. He is scared that if the conversation stays on love for too long, his emotions will become too heavy to carry, and he might blur out the words before he's ready. He is also looking at your reaction. He's trying to see if you sound cynical about love or if you seem to be longing for it. Every word you say on the subject is analyzed by his brain as a clue for his own mission. His restlessness is the energy of a man who is holding back a flood. He wants to join the conversation. He wants to agree, and he wants to tell you that he feels exactly what the characters on screen feel. But the fear of the what-if keeps him in a state of agitated silence. 15. He shows up for you during the hard times without hesitation. When the honeymoon feelings of a crush fade into the battle-tested feelings of love, a man's actions become undeniable. If you are going through a crisis, a family illness, a car breakdown at 2 a.m., or mental health slump, and he is the first person there, he is in love. A man who is terrified to say "I love you" often feels that his words are weak, so he makes his presence loud. He wants to be the one who carries the burden for you. This is the ultimate consistency test. He is proving that he isn't just there for the fun times. He is there for the ugly times. He is terrified that if he isn't the one you lean on, you will realize he is replaceable. By being your first responder, he is cementing his place in your life as a necessity. You might notice that he doesn't ask, "Do you need help?" He just says, "I'm on my way." This active devotion, is his way of showing you his heart without the risk of a verbal rejection. You can't reject a ride to the airport or a bowl of soup when you're sick, but you can reject a confession of love. He is playing the long game. He believes that if he proves his love through 1,000 small acts of loyalty during your hardest moments, that "I love you" will eventually become an obvious, undisputed truth. He is loving you in the dark so that one day he can finally say it in the light.